New American has a whole bunch of information on global warming, and it is correct. This magazine and its predecessor and its successor are not always correct, or basically it is junk. Over here, the Denver Rocky Mountain News. So that must be a couple weeks old, right? Sorry about that. U.S. uses the most carbon, something like 55,100 metric tons. But I understand that China just surpassed America. America is the only one that has to pay, cough up. It is going to get us broke. 10,000 per unit, per family, $1 trillion. And then we have those brilliant people that have our interest at their mind voting for it. We need to stand up and speak up. However, this presentation only goes to one thing, to the glory of God. I was introduced as giving some talks. This is what I have done. This past Wednesday, I spoke in Akron on creation. I also have 4 presentations on cash. Cash, financial freedom, God's way, how to get out of debt. We all need to get out of debt. How to live God's way. Spend less than you make. Financial success, God's way. I like that. It is not what you make, but what you give. Controversial. You heard one of them. What was that? Global warming. Characters in the Bible. I talked about that a little bit with Rebecca, with Joseph, with David. If we would follow what they had to say, things could be different for each one of us. Proverbs, diligence. You will hear something. 1 in 1,000 people is diligent in what they do. 1 in 1,000. It has changed the way I do things. To go over here, this is fact or fiction. This is life-changing. This is fact or fiction. This is fact or fiction. This is life-changing. Life-changing. You hear it and you can change. You do things differently. I'm working on 2 other broad projects. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much for this very enlightening presentation. I know for some of us we've heard that before and we heard it again, so it's always good to hear it repeated because the truth is always good to repeat, right? The truth always will outwin over the lie, ultimately. I'm sure you have some questions in the audience, so we're going to have the microphone passed around to you.
Make it easy. I'm just a PIB, a poor ignorant boy. If anybody wants me to give presentations free of charge, free, in their church, I have some cards I can hand out. But otherwise, nothing. I have no books to sell, nothing. Hooray! I answered everything perfectly.
Question, sir?
Yeah, you mentioned creationists and the missing link several times. I believe the missing link is something that the environmentalists are looking for without much result, but creationists don't waste their time doing that.
You're right. I was trying to combine the two a little bit, that there is some similarity. There are differences, but there are some similarity also. Basically, get rid of God. Can't be done. God is in control. God will stay there.
Since your statistics are showing about every 40 years they're predicting either warming or cooling, do you believe that by 2050 they'll be predicting global freezing again?
I am not God. God is in control, and it seems to be like that. And if you look at the almanac, they tend to do that way, and some people tend to go that way. But there's another group that say, we got to spend $1 trillion, and they do not talk about it. This is disaster upon us. So there are two groups, one the scientists, and the other one say, this gets worse, we got to stop it. We got to spend $1 trillion. Now one is political, or one is whatever, has our downfall in mind, and the other one has our good in mind. So I do not have the answer. Looking at the scientists, it appears to be that it goes up and down and up and down and up and down. We had 75 in 4,500 years. So it is highly likely that it will go down again. As a matter of fact,